This week we went to go see Transformers Rise of the Beast in IMAX. That's right, in IMAX, but is it any good? We'll talk. Hi, how you doing today? It's just Jess here. Hope you're having a good day. And today, yes, so we went to go see Transformers Rise of the Beast in IMAX, but is it worth it in that format? Honestly, probably, maybe, yes. I could not find the filmed for IMAX or shot in IMAX like I do with other movies reviews here on this YouTube channel. However, I still searched the internet far and wide and even looked at IMAX's official website, which I'll still link below so you can look at it if you found something that I didn't. So based on my assumption, now this is just me being honest, I don't think it is formatted in IMAX. It's probably just digitally remastered or something, but I don't want to give any false information. So that is just my assumption for you. However, I'll still link below, like I said. Even so, even if it wasn't shot in IMAX, we still, because you don't get the expanded ratio, it still felt amazing in this format with the actions and the sounds and the fighting. The 3D, which the IMAX 3D, I saw it, I don't know, it barely felt popping to be honest, but it was an okay addition. I mean, literally in the beginning when you see Unicron or the worlds, or when it's about to like devastation in the beginning when it set up the movie in the IMAX 3D, I was like, oh my gosh, there's some popping to the right, but then quickly, I don't know, maybe it is a little bit popping, but I was too main focused on everything else, such as Optimus Prime or Mirage or Bumblebee. Transformers Rise of the Beast is an action adventure fun movie from the beloved series and second in the chronological order of the 1990s after Bumblebee, but a prequel to the 2007's Michael Bay Transformers movie. Set in the year 1994, which, by the way, guys, that is the year I was born, we encounter Noah, played by Anthony Ramos, a young man who's trying to take care of his little brother and his family as his little brother has sickle cell disease. Now, I'm going to talk about Anthony Ramos for a second. The first time I saw him was In the Heights, which was a musical movie, which I'll link below. I saw that movie in theaters in IMAX. That's right, in IMAX. And before I heard him in Hamilton, he also was with that Liam Neeson movie, but I wanted him to do an action adventure movie like this one. When I heard that he was being cast, I was really excited because I'm half Latino, and seeing a Latino represented that he can act more than just singing was amazing to see, because I'm like, yes, he's in like a big franchise, he's Latino, I can see myself up there. I'm like, this is great, he can do more than just sing, and now he uses his acting chops to spread his wings in a newfound footage in acting for Transformers movies. So yeah, he can sing, he can dance, but now we see him do more of a main role protagonist, which I did like. I'm like, this is gonna open so much more doors for his career advancement. Desperate for money, he tries to steal a car during an auction house, and it turns out to be Mirage, which is the Porsche car, the blue and the silver, which I'll put a picture on screen right now for you, which is voiced none other than Pete Davidson. I had no idea Mirage was voiced by Pete Davidson. When I went to the movie, I'm like, Mirage sounds familiar, something I can get like relatable to, but then after the movie, I did some research. He is voiced by Pete Davidson, and the reason why it's so extravagant to me is because, wow, that changes how I look at the film. Like, I didn't know that going into it. I don't really watch trailers, I don't really look at previews, I only look at like pictures on Instagram, and now I can see why he was so like goofy, relatable, young boyish, tomboyish. I really like them as he is forced against his will. After trying to steal the car, he goes to a secret meeting with the other Autobots, and Optimus Prime telling them has been summoned because of an emergency that takes place. He encounters Optimus and the gang with the beloved Bumblebee and RC as they try to navigate a plan to try to steal the key that has potentially opened the portal to encounter Unicron and the evil early Decepticons, or Scourge with the other enemies that are trying to deceive it. In order to survive 2 planets from total destructions, they have to maybe work together in order to retrieve the second half that takes them around the world, all while impending forces try to kill them and impede on their doom. Now, I'm gonna give you like a brief history where I'm tackling this. I always loved Michael Bay movies, Transformers movie. I'm actually gonna rewatch them tonight after I do this movie review. But when I was younger, when I was watching it in the theaters, that's where I watched all of them, even Bumblebee. I was like, oh my gosh, action, non-stop. Some of them were even filmed in Chicago, which I was very happy with. Now, I was a younger movie guy back then, so now looking at it now, it'll probably be different, but I did like it because it was a mostly immersed action. Now, of course, when I was younger, all I cared about was that. I mean, I still liked the Transformers other ones because of Megan Fox, Shia LaBeouf, you know, it was like all the rage craze, like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful, she's so hot, she likes cars, and it's like, should I be a car guy? So I always liked the Transformers movies. I didn't like Bumblebee, even though that was critically acclaimed with a lot of people giving it good reviews. I did watch it, I thought it was okay, but I did like the other series better. Now the Mark Wahlberg one was definitely not like the best one, to be very honest, but the Bumblebee, even though it was good, I just couldn't connect with it like the other people did. Not against Haley Steinfeld, which she is gorgeous, by the way. It's just that, I don't know, I don't really like prequels like that. If you're new here on this channel, first, thank you, but second, I don't really like prequels. I don't like going backwards. I don't like World War I, World War II. Now, this is a caveat because it's set in the 1994, which still is kind of like in a new era. I mean, we're still in the 1990s, basically. I mean, I was born there, so I couldn't really hate it. But at the same time, they only have like 13 years to play with if we get a sequel to this, which I hopefully we will, because at the end credits is such a bonkers connection to what they do with like the rest of the cast members and even two universes combining. That's all I'm gonna say. But they only have 13 movies, and we know where the series goes. But for this, I did like for what it was, but I still prefer like a more future version of like Transformers. Like, let's go into the future, let's see what happens next, because we know where the story's gonna end up. I mean, yeah, there might be some plot holes and some different stuff that they can make in terms of the story wise, but at the end of the day, it was a nice time, especially with all the sounds and visual effects in IMAX 3D, such as the you know, like the Optimus Prime. He has to still his voice, which is still voiced by Ron Perlman. I'm sorry if I'm not getting that right. So watching this in IMAX 3D, I did like the action. There was a lot of fighting, a lot of like non-stop, oh my gosh, like look at this, explosions, not in terms of like Michael Bay, but still it was a nice thrilling ride, especially in IMAX 3D, because I was in such in my seat. I was like, oh my god, like I was like a little kid, you know, like this is what summer blockbuster movie season should be. I mean, literally it is Transformers, so you get all those cool Unicron, especially the other like the enemies, the Scourge, the Maximos, which we'll talk about it in a minute, and of course the sounds that the Transformers make every time they're shooting, every time they're fighting, the clinks, the clanks, every time they transforms. I was like, wow, it was still a nice thrilling time to see it in IMAX 3D. One thing that I did love though, more than the action, was one of the main movies focuses on Noah and Mirage. Mirage feels like a relatable character, just like a young man or young boy that Optimus Prime is like his father or the older brother. Mirage is perfect for Noah in terms of companionship and friendship, because to me, I could see myself in Noah because he's Latino, he's straight out of water, he's like, oh my gosh, like what are we doing? Like imagine robots, but we gotta like help together. Mirage feels like that older brother or that young sibling that's like, let's stay out late tonight, just a little bit more, they won't get caught, so let's get this, let's steal this, oh don't worry, we'll sneak out in front of our parents in the back. Like he's that type of guy, like he's relatable, he's outrageous, he's young, he wants to go out, he's like the nightlife of the party, you know, he wants to like attract attention. So to me, I was like, dude, Mirage is beautiful, and I hope to see him more in like future Transformers movies, especially Pete Davidson voicing him. It's really relatable and I could connect with it. Not even just the Mirage character, just Noah with him. They're dynamic, the way they talk, they're just like, oh my god, like we're like the same, we're like together, we're both young people trying to protect our own, and I'm like that. It's pretty cool. The other human who joins the team is Elena, and she is needed for her ancient stuff of archaeology and information on how to retrieve the other key. We also explore the Maximos. Now the Maximos are a typical like close relatives of like the Transformers based on like what I've seen in the movie. I mean, they're mostly like animals like King Kong. We get the cheetah, we get the bird, which is voiced by Michelle Yeoh, which is incredible, by the way. I'm like, Michelle Yeoh with some computerized like attacking with her mouth or like her voice. She's like, we need to save the world, and it's so cool how she did it. And I thought it was cool because we see the Maximals with the Autobots transforming together. Like, are they enemies? Are they together? Why are there two separate things? Why didn't we learn about this before? Why aren't they referenced in the new Transformers movies? I mean, maybe they are. It's been a while since I've seen them, but I still loved it how the movie traveled across the globe from Los Angeles to Peru to film on these iconic locations. And the reason why I know this because I literally saw interviews on YouTube before I started writing the script. The evil villains such as Scourge, it's like, I don't want to say it's like a close relative to Megatron. I mean, Megatron, I don't know if he's in the background or something, but I don't want to say they have a bitter rivalry, because remember in the Michael Bay movies, Megatron and Optimus Prime had movies leading up to their fight, so they had like a most bitter rivalry. I mean, yeah, Scourge might be the first birthplace of Optimus Prime to get all his like, oh my gosh, like we need to kill this guy first. But I still like to see like the other enemies. I mean, we don't get as much screen time as like his henchmen of Scourge, but I did like for what we saw. At the end of the day, if you like Transformers movies, you'll still like this. I mean, it's probably not as good as the other ones. A lot of people will still like Bumblebee, but you'll still get amazing action, amazing human action where they get little Transformers to try to attack on, the connection between the Autobots and the humans, the fights between the Autobots and like, I call it Unicron or something, like the enemies, the Scourge, like you still get that in this Transformers movie. And yes, of course, it does set up for equals the Maximos, the Unicron, the Autobots, and maybe the birthplace of the foreshadowing of the Decepticons. I'm gonna give this a B+, and I saw this in IMAX 3D, so your results may vary. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you sticking around. Maybe consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications so you never miss a video. And with that, take care, bye!